Now, I know there are a lot of people out there who don't pay much attention to midterm elections. In fact, many Americans don't even know who's running for Congress in their district or for the U.S. Senate in their state or for governor. And they're thinking, it's not a presidential election. What's the big deal? Why should I go out and vote? Why should I knock on doors or work on a campaign? Who cares? Well, if you are one of those people, and that's what you're thinking, let me be very clear. You are dead wrong. The election in 5 weeks is the most important midterm election in the modern history of this country, and to a very significant degree will determine the future of the United States of America, and it will have a major impact on your life and the life of your family. Yes, it does matter a whole lot who controls the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House. And let me tell you why. We are living in an unprecedented moment in history and in extraordinarily dangerous and unsettling times. You turn on the news and it looks like it's one crisis on top of another. It's the economy, it's climate change, it's the attack against abortion rights, it's the pandemic, it's the war in Ukraine, and perhaps most importantly, it's the growing effort by Republicans to undermine the very foundations of American democracy. In my view, as we enter the last 5 weeks of this midterm campaign, it's imperative that we not only expose Republicans for their reactionary agenda and the harm they will do to working people and the middle class, to women, to our environment, and to our democracy. That is enormously important, but it's not enough. As progressives, we have got to lay out our agenda, our vision, as to where this country should go. And that is to create a government that works for all and not just the few. When we talk about what's going on in this country, let's start off by taking a look at the state of our economy. And what you'll find is that the economy is doing great. It's doing fantastic for the people on top, but not so good for the middle class, for working families, for the vast majority of our people. In case you haven't noticed, you're living in a rigged economy in which the rich and powerful are doing phenomenally well while working people are falling further and further behind. Today, while some 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck, just trying to pay the bills, the billionaire class has never, ever had it so good. Unbelievably, while tens of thousands of workers died going to their jobs during the pandemic, doing what they were asked to do, the billionaire class became $2 trillion richer during that same period. Today, while the price of healthcare is soaring, 3 people, 1, 2, 3, own more wealth than the bottom half of American society, which is 165 million people. 3 people, more wealth than 165 million people. We now have more income and wealth inequality than at any time in the history of our country. Today, while some 18 million American families are paying over 50% of their limited incomes on housing, and 600,000 are homeless, the top 1% owns more wealth than the bottom 92% of our people. Today, while Americans struggle to fill up their gas tanks to get to work, CEOs of the largest corporations in our country now make almost 400 times as much as the average worker. Did you hear that? CEOs of the largest corporations now make almost 400 times as much as the average worker. And when we talk about inflation, which is on the minds of almost everybody, let us understand that inflation is a worldwide phenomenon, not just American. In Europe, inflation is now at 10%. In America, while much too high, inflation is about 8.2%. And when we talk about inflation, here is the ugly truth. Corporate America, with their extraordinary greed, is using the pandemic, the global supply chain crisis, and the horrific war in Ukraine to charge Americans outrageously high prices, all the while they make record-breaking profits. This is what's going on. While the price of gas has soared, the five big oil companies made $59 billion in profits during the second quarter of this year alone, one quarter. And they're spending $88 billion on stock buybacks and dividends to exclusively benefit their wealthy shareholders. That's the oil companies. While global food prices skyrocketed by over 33% last year and are expected to go up by another 23% this year, billionaires in the global food and agribusiness industry became $382 billion richer during the pandemic. While we continue to pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, three of the largest pharmaceutical companies in America, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and AbbVie, increased their profits by 90%, 90% last year to $54 billion. Meanwhile, the CEO of Moderna recently acquired a $926 million golden parachute after his company received $2.5 billion in taxpayer dollars from the Trump administration to develop its COVID vaccine. And while 1 out of 4 Americans cannot afford to pay for their prescription drugs, the CEO of Regeneron Pharmaceuticals made over $450 million in total compensation last year. We need a tax system that is based on ability to pay, that raises the funds we need to support strong social programs for working people, children, and the elderly. We need to move aggressively against the grotesque level of income and wealth inequality by creating a truly progressive tax on wealth. That is what we mean by a progressive agenda. What we mean is bringing people together to fight for a government that works for all of us, not one that works for the people on top. And right now, our job is to rally the American people to make sure that we expand the slim Democratic majority in the House and elect at least 2 more Democrats in the Senate who are prepared to take on the greed of the billionaire class and create a government that works for all of us and not just the 1%. If we stand united, if we do not allow Republicans to divide us up by the color of our skin, our sexual orientation, or our immigration status, if we stand together and take on the big money interest and the unprecedented level of corporate greed in America today, there is nothing that we cannot accomplish. Our job now is to knock on doors, make phone calls, talk to our neighbors, our friends, and our colleagues to get out the vote for progressives and Democrats up and down the ballot. This is something we can do. It is something we must do. The future of the country is at stake. Thank you all very much.